Welcome back to Star Wars Nerds Unite, a Star Wars podcast. That's us. I'm me, timvanautreve, your host. Joining me as always are Josh the Tosh, internet famous Mason.
Hello.
Hello, Josh.
I'm the ice cream man today.
He is the ice cream man.
We had delicious
The ice cream woman, Jennifer Van Autreve. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi.
Her only contribution was wanting ice cream.
It worked. It got the ice cream here.
Yep.
The ice cream was delicious, Josh. You brought a delicious red raspberry cheesecake and a salted caramel. Both were excellent. I'm still eating some.
If you're ever in Eureka, Illinois, go to Uncle Bob's.
That's why we are eating ice cream on the show as we speak, because it's the summer of comics.
It's the summer of comics.
Hashtag summer of comics. This whole summer, we're going to be talking about comics wall to wall, week to week, ceiling to ceiling.
At least one episode.
There's not too many weeks left.
Well,
probably
summer
get-
just started.
We go to Labor Day.
4 episodes. Oh.
Summer
okay.
just started.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. Summer's been here for like a week and a half.
2 weeks.
Anyway, so the comic that we chose first was...
And we're going to do series.
Right.
We're going to try and
used to
do like graphic novel increments, not individual comics.
Like we used to do.
So that way we can cover more ground.
Right. So the episodes might be longer. They might be shorter. Who knows? We used to be able to prattle on for 45 minutes on
If
one
there are
episode.
lots of Leia, like if they're like Leia, they'll be short. But if they're like Lando, they'll be long.
That was a good comic book.
It was
Please don't do that.
My wife really hates that noise. She hates when I do that.
It disgusts me.
So Lucy learned from her grandfather, not my dad, but Megan's dad. After drinking water, she'll go, ah, every time and then giggle. It's so funny.
Is that what Megan's dad does every time he drinks water?
He doesn't, but like he started to do it one day or something and she thought it was hilarious. And now she does it all the time.
Sounds awful. Right, honey?
It's funny the first couple times.
That salted caramel.
Oh, it just grosses me out. Ugh.
So if you can't tell, there's kids out in the pool yelling and screaming. Hashtag summer of comics.
It's not really a pool. It's like a miniature.
It's a 10-foot above ground, 3-foot pool.
Yeah.
It's
3
not
foot
even
tall.
3 feet. It's 30 inches.
30 inches deep.
Yeah.
10-foot diameter.
2.5 feet deep.
100 degrees.
106
Because it's so
degrees.
shallow that it gets so hot.
Imagine
It's like
taking
a
a glass of water
it's a-
outside and just leaving it there and coming back after work and drinking it. That's what this thing is.
It's
This large
it's
cup
like a
of
hot
water.
tub more than it's like a pool.
You know, I'm happy about my pool. I'm glad I've got it. We just had the solar cover on it too long.
Yeah,
That's fine.
That's what
We got
it
a
is.
different cover on it now, so
You have multiple covers for your pool?
Yeah. How
we
roll.
had two because there was like a delay in getting the solar one.
Do you have to drain it in the winter?
Yeah, I'm going to take it down.
Ugh, that's painful.
Oh, yeah, it'll be awful. Yeah.
How long did it take to fill? How many gallons is it?
It's like 1,100.
Yeah.
It didn't take that long. I mean, like
Do you have separate
3 or
water
4
meters?
hours. No.
You're
I know.
getting that extra
I know
sewage,
it.
man.
I know it. That extra $20 is going to get me.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a non-trivial amount of money.
That's as much money. I could buy 3 quarts of Bob's.
You
Uncle
could.
Bob's.
3 quarts of Uncle Bob's ice cream.
Well, anyway, we should get down to business. Brax tax.
Brax tax.
Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Isn't it brass?
The series.
It is, but my tongue stuck from all that sticky ice
it's like
cream.
a
'Cause I didn't-
gander situation.
I didn't lick it off my lips well enough. Wow.
Oh, I can't take it.
Jeez Louise. It's like
Sorry.
nails on a chalkboard face.
Okay.
Obi-Wan and Anakin. We did,
The first one.
we did the first issue. But we're going to do all 5 and talk about them as if we never talked about the first one. The writer's Charles Soule, and
He
the
did
artist.
the Chewbacca series, right?
Oh, he did?
I thought he did Chewbacca.
Yeah, maybe. Phil Noto did the art. I know that.
Soul did something, before this.
Might have been Chewbacca. We can look it up. And Marco Checchetto. He's the artist.
And VC's Joe Caramanga, who's in every comic ever.
Yeah, he's the letterer.
He draws the words.
Jen, I guess it's your time to shine. Why don't you give us a synopsis?
Can you do this appropriately?
What do you mean by appropriately?
Don't finger through the comic. Just do it from memory.
All right. Well, I'm going to read some of these.
Why?
Just to give them a background.
They don't need a background.
I can't explain it better than this.
Well, we do need to at least establish like what time period
I'm
the
just
comic
going to
takes
read
place.
this. It's only one page.
All right, so this is the scrolling text at the
scrolling
beginning
text,
of the movie for the comic series.
Yeah, the comic. Each issue has the scrolling text as an intro. So this is part 1 of Anakin and Obi-Wan.
That was Dugan. Did Chewbacca?
It is a time of peace in the galaxy. For 1,000 years, the mystic Jedi Order has served as peacekeeper of the Republic, maintaining peace in the service of the Galactic Senate. Obi-Wan Kenobi achieved the title of Jedi Knight after defeating the Sith who killed his master, the noble Qui-Gon Jinn. I have to think about that so hard because I always want to say his name wrong.
Qui-Gon?
I want to say, like, Qui-Gon, something different than Jin. I don't know. To honor Qui-Gon's dying wish, Obi-Wan has taken Anakin Skywalker as his Padawan, training him in the ways of the Jedi. Several years have passed since Anakin began his studies in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. He has proven to be stronger in the Force than any child trained in generations. However, Anakin and Obi-Wan have both begun to question their roles in the destiny of the Force. They have embarked upon a mission to the far reaches of the galaxy to respond to a distress call. A mission that could change everything for them both. ...
He did Lando. And Poe. And
I would be
doing Darth
surprised
Vader
if
now.
he did Chewie, because Chewie was not good.
He did the new Darth Vader comic.
Yeah.
I don't think he did.
He did Lando. He worked on it.
Oh,
He may
yeah,
not
he
have
did.
written.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay, so this distress call that they're responding to is on this planet called Carnelian 4.
Insignificant place B.
So,
Don't finger through it. Just do it from memory.
They're flying. They come to this Carnelian 4. There's a distress signal sent asking for Jedi assistance, but they thought this planet was like completely uninhabited. There was some kind of civil war there, like decades ago.
Yeah, they blew each other
I
up.
So
think
they thought-
further than like longer, centuries ago.
Oh,
Like
long time
thousands,
ago.
millennia
So
ago.
they don't even know that there's people living on this planet, but they came anyway. It's very difficult to land because the atmosphere is covered in tons of debris or something. And so they...
Stop.
I have to look at
No,
something.
you don't. Just
Okay.
stop.
So they get to the planet, but in the process, they crash their ship. They quickly are faced with these two women. Obi-Wan actually saves them somehow. I don't remember if they're...
Mother Pran and Kolara.
Yeah,
are the
they're
name of the two people.
natives of this planet, who quickly turn their guns on Obi-Wan and Anakin, and they ask them if they're open or closed, and they're
That's
very
it?
confused. They just say, "Are you open or closed? Like, answer now or you're dead." So, next issue. That was the end
Yeah.
of the first issue. That was a cliffhanger.
Well, she wanted to know what a Jai was.
Oh, well, yeah. So they're like, we're not open or closed, we're Jedi. They don't know they've never even heard of Jedi. So that was a cliffhanger. So next issue,
How do you remember the cliffhanger from one specific issue?
I read it. I don't
I
know.
remember it.
Okay, what's the cliffhanger of the bridge issue?
I don't know which one you think is a bridge.
Just keep talking.
Okay,
To it.
so keep talking.
Trying to open it again.
Okay, so they still have their guns on them. They keep asking them if they're open or closed. You basically find out that there's this civil war one side is considered open, one side is considered closed. They've been fighting for so long, it like nobody even really knows what they were fighting about, but everybody blames the other side for the destruction of the planet. The planet kind of reminds me of like Mad Max, except for like a
Winter.
cold climate.
Yeah, it's winter, Mad Max, steampunk.
Yeah, it's just constant war. People are all, their faces are painted up. They're just
Everything's jury rigged together.
Yeah. There's not any resources left on the planet, so there is. They have
resources.
to like scavenge for stuff to put stuff together. Nothing really works correctly anymore.
And then there's these creepy zombie bat things
Oh yeah,
that live
there's all
under the
kinds of
poison
strange
cloud
creatures on the planet.
that are ex-open or closed people that just got exposed to this poison.
And
They literally like killed their planet with their war.
Yeah, this is like nuclear war broke out. And now they fly around in steampunk
Airship things.
dirigibles.
Yeah, and these creatures kind of look like, I don't know, flying vampires.
Yeah.
Like it's
Zombie
just
vampire bat
yeah,
things.
zombie kind of looking. So,
We got the two open
we
ladies.
got the two open ladies. They're on the open side. There's another native who's on the closed side who starts shooting at them.
Well, so when they landed on the planet, they saw this battle going on, right, between two airships. They saw one airship get destroyed, and the other one ended up getting destroyed too, and they saved the two ladies.
They saved the two women.
And then out of the blue, this guy attacks them.
Grecker.
So one of the guys from the other ship didn't die. He's closed. And Obi-Wan saves him also. He's about to fall off a cliff, and Obi-Wan saves him. And then the women are like, why did you save him? He's going to kill us. And so nobody kills anybody.
Well, they're all subdued by Anakin, and they're all like, that's a child. Like, how is he so powerful?
Right. So they agreed to work together because Anakin and Obi-Wan tell them like their mission of being there. They say that they've received a message for help from the planet, and they have the coordinates, and they want to figure out who sent for help. And all of a sudden it piques these people's interest, and even though they wanted to kill each other a second ago, they decide to go with them to help them figure out who it was.
Let's go on a Hobbit adventure together.
Yeah. So they put it's Anakin's idea to kind of like mesh their two ships, the different pieces that aren't destroyed together to create a new ship so they can get to these coordinates. And at first they're like, open and closed can never work together.
Our equipment can't work together.
Because even though they like just create their ships out of nothing, like there's very specific designs for an open ship and very specific designs for a closed ship. But Anakin does it.
Android.
So Anakin puts them together, and they start flying. Then they get kind of attacked at different points by these flying creatures. Anakin keeps kind of, I don't know if he's having flashbacks or if it's just flashing back and showing you what's been happening with him. But there's this point where all these creatures are coming at them, and Obi-Wan is telling Anakin he doesn't have to kill them, just to use the Force to make them leave because they're just completely mindless.
Right.
He's like, we don't have to kill them. They're just reacting to their nature. Just make them leave or whatever. And Anakin flashes back to his training, and he's kind of in a similar situation trying to control some animal or something.
Yeah, just some angry beast at the temple.
Oh, it was like a raging bull. He was trying to like calm it down, and basically he couldn't get a hold of his emotions.
Right. He excels at everything but this task. This is like
mastering his emotions and calming other people down. So he ends up killing all these creatures around him.
So there's a subplot that got introduced that you kind of skipped over.
I wasn't done.
Well, you've passed a whole comic on where Anakin, when he gets there, he doesn't have his lightsaber. Do you remember why he doesn't have his lightsaber?
Yeah, so you find out that Anakin has decided to just leave the Jedi Order, and he already gave Obi-Wan back his lightsaber. Obi-Wan's trying to talk him out of leaving. Eventually he accepted that he needed his lightsaber, at least while they were on the planet. So he gave it back to him and he took it. But he told him he hadn't changed his mind about leaving. And you don't really know why or what's going on. But then throughout these 5 issues, you keep getting these little flashbacks of what's been happening with Anakin and why he was going to leave.
So why I brought it up, though, is when they're on the airship still, before the fixed airship, the 2 women start manipulating Anakin. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of playing on his desire to kind of go out and do stuff in the galaxy and do good. Yeah, the whole time that Obi-Wan was kind of describing the downfall of this planet, like Anakin just wouldn't accept that they were just able to kill each other off, because he said if people knew that this was going on, why didn't the Senate or the Jedi come and stop them from fighting and killing each other? And Obi-Wan was just like, we don't, there's not enough of us. We can't get involved in every fight. And the Jedi don't want to take away their free will, and their will is to fight each other. Like, but they can't be logicked with. Yeah, that topic came up a few times. Anakin just won't accept that they're not allowed to come in and intervene. So he is all about, if he thinks he can help somebody, whatever, he just wants to jump in and do it, like no matter what the rules are. And not think about the consequences. Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, so he puts these 2 ships together, and I don't know if that was the only thing he kind of built, but they were... That was the first thing he built. Yeah. And then when they're on the airship and the 2 women are manipulating him, they show him like this artifact. And he's like, what is this? And they explain it's like a droid brain and that it's broken. Well, yeah, I just didn't know how I couldn't remember if he fixed something else and that's how they got him to, they like figured out like he's really mechanical. So they decided to give him this old piece of equipment to see if he could fix it. And he fixed it like instantly. So they gave him a few of them. They just gave him one at first. They only had the one. Oh, I thought he... And then they stole him. They absconded with Anakin during an attack. Yeah. So they were plotting to kidnap Anakin and take him back to the open base so that he could fix more of their little brains, which were like these huge weapons. Yeah, weapons. That haven't worked in... Who knows how long, years and years, but now they have somebody that can fix them for him. So now they think they're going to finally like end the war and kill everyone. Simultaneously, while they're manipulating Anakin, Draken is manipulating Obi-Wan. And he's trying to get him to talk about Anakin. And like, oh, your son, he's really powerful. And Anakin's like, oh, he's not my son. And he explains the whole backstory. And... Mm-hmm. Draken really tries to be sympathetic to try and get Obi-Wan. He tells him, well, you can tell that he idolizes you, and just like buttering him up. And while they're flying, there's this kind of parachute in the sky with this package falling, and they... Just like the Hunger Games. Yeah. So I think they just shoot it down. I can't remember. Well, the open lady, Mother... Cran? I can't remember. Mother Pran. Yeah. She destroys it. Yeah, so Anakin and Obi-Wan are like, What's that? That? Why would you what is that floating present outside? And so then the younger girl shows Anakin that it was something like a piece of art. Yeah. It's just like a trinket or something from their old society before everything went crazy. So she has this like hidden medallion or something that was in one of those little gift boxes. And so it turns out that the person that's sending these little mystery gifts in the sky is the one that sent them the coordinates and asked for help. She's trying to use these pieces of their history to remind everybody what they could have so that they stop this war.
Specifically, she's targeting the youth.
Young,
yeah. She wants the youth to see it because
They've
they
never
have-
even seen the old world.
Yeah, so there's hope that they could.
And the old people are just so,
influenced.
They're
There's-
just so obsessed
war
with
is their
hating
life.
each other.
and they will never resolve the issue. So Anakin gets taken away.
So they go to the open base. They force him to help continue to make these weapons. Obi-Wan is with Grekin. I think they lose their ship.
So the airship gets destroyed in the attack.
And Grekin, says something about he can help Obi-Wan get to Anakin or find the base. Or no, he says there's no hope for you finding the base. It could be anywhere in these mountains or something. And Obi-Wan's like, well, he knows the coordinates. He'll show up.
Right.
And so he just keeps going to where the distress call came from. When they get close to the distress call,
More of the zombie vampire dudes
yeah.
show up.
And then, I don't know, Grekin kind of double crosses him or is
Well, so the
trying to,
lady
like-
shows up, right?
Oh yeah, they get to where the distress call was from, and then the woman, I don't know what they call her, the collector.
She had a name. It started with an S. Tim will find it.
Oh yeah,
It's like Seth or Shaw or Shane.
Syed or something. I don't know. She shoots Grekin. He's trying to get into her little
Secret,
cave,
yeah.
and he tries to lock Obi-Wan outside with all those monsters.
It's like the cave at the end of National Treasure 2.
Oh, that one.
Don't you remember?
Yeah.
No. So
It's very similar.
she knows that Grekin's up to no good. She just kills him, or she just shoots him. I don't think he dies.
Her name's Sarah.
Sarah?
and-
Sarah?
Sera.
That's just like the bad person in Gears of War. Wasn't that the bad lady? The main bad guy was Sarah?
I don't know.
Or the planet was Sarah? Something. Anyways.
Here's a War's Earth, isn't it?
Okay,
No.
so she knocks Grekin outside. Obi-Wan gets into the cave with her. He's like, why'd you shoot him? And she said, he was trying to lock you out and let you be killed by
He's
those
gonna
monsters.
double-cross you, yeah.
So she said, he was just trying to follow you to get to me. That's all they care about. So it turns out the reason that the open and closed people, why they both were so willing to work together to stay with Obi-Wan and Anakin, was just because when they found out that somebody sent this distress call, they knew it had to be this person who's sending everybody these parachutes with packages. So they wanted to find her and kill her because they want her to knock it off because it is affecting the youth and people are asking questions.
They just want to destroy her little cave.
Yeah.
Secrets.
So she explains everything to Obi-Wan. She's trying to bring back their culture so the war can stop. And
You forgot where earlier Grekin shot a flare in the air.
yeah, at some point when they first arrived to where the coordinates were, he shot a flare.
Yeah.
So Sarah, how do you
Sarah.
say name? She,
Well, the clothes roll in at this point. The clothes show up.
I mean,
and
as
they're
soon
like,
as
"We're gonna
she,
blow up
yeah,
your lair."
as soon as she explains to him why she contacted him, the closed people show up. But she explains a little bit more. She told them the reason she never heard of Jedi, but she found some
records or a video or
she could
poster,
see.
I
It was
can't
like
remember.
some weird artifact that was like not a hologram, but she could like see.
It used to be a hologram.
Oh, okay. She could watch this scene over and over and over again.
But did you pick up on the important
was-
plot point?
It wasn't Jedi, it was Sith.
It was the Sith.
So she thought they were Jedi.
And
And-
the
And that
Jedi
they
would
were
roll in.
helping.
The Jedi would roll in and just destroy.
Yeah.
But
Everyone.
she was saying how powerful they were
Yeah.
in this image that she saw and how she knew they would come and they could just take over and put an end to
Well-
all this killing.
And the whole thing is that the Sith caused this.
And
Right? That's the insinuation that there was a Sith on this planet causing this war to start. This war is a result of the Sith.
but anyway, when she tells Obi-Wan this, and so then he's like, by chance, what color was
Yeah.
this lightsaber that you saw in this image? And she's like, oh, it was red. Why?
Because the planet, like, there's no records in the Jedi archives. Like, nobody knows what happened.
Yeah. So
So the closed are now attacking Obi-Wan.
Yeah, the closed are there because Grekin shot off that flare.
And now the open roll in.
Another thing, she's getting old. She's like, I'm about to die. I guess she's just going to drop dead any day from just like being alive too long.
Making too many parachutes.
And so she's like, I'm about to die. I just needed somebody to come and help and like finish my work or whatever. Well, it's like too late because the closed people, now they know where she is. They're there. And then very shortly after, the open get there with these new weapons that Anakin helped them build.
They look like Robotech.
Yeah, the giant mechs.
Yeah.
With machine guns.
And so, yeah, the closed are pretty surprised to see these huge weapons coming at them.
So then they fight.
Yeah.
And then the Republic shows up. And Anakin shows up as well, right? He makes an airship or something.
There's some way. How did the Republic know to come?
Well, Obi-Wan had sent a message saying that their ship was disabled, but that there was a bunch of Tabana gas in the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. He sent it. But he sent it while he was with the dude.
Yeah.
So, and he said that about the Tabana gas so that the Republic would actually show up.
Right. Because he knew they would be greedy.
Yeah, because there's money in Tabana.
So throughout this, we saw different flashbacks of Anakin. One of them was at the temple, and it's just kind of trying to show how he is so emotional. He's fighting
like a training droid.
He's fighting just this like regular training droid, and then somehow he
had like, programmed it to be like Maul.
And it even looked like Maul. Yeah. Like all of a sudden it transitioned into Maul and started it looked like it was replaying the fight that killed Qui-Gon.
Correct.
And so the Senator and I think Mace and Obi-Wan are watching, and the Senator is extremely impressed.
He's the Chancellor at this point.
Oh,
Chancellor
whatever. He's like really impressed and is all into. He wants to get Anakin alone, and he starts showing them, like asking them if they can bring Anakin to him because he's very impressed and blah blah blah.
Well, he voluntold them.
Yeah, and Mace tried to be like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan can handle it," and Palpatine's like, "Well, I'm in charge of the.
I'm pretty sure I'm
Jedi.
the Chancellor.
You serve at the pleasure of the Senate, and I am the Senate." So.
Yeah, so he basically demands that they bring Anakin to him. There's also like this little altercation with some of the other Jedi trainees, whatever, Padawans.
Well, it was the Maul thing was happening, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like whispering behind Anakin's back and talking about how he can't control his emotions, and he gets super mad. Yeah. And he just like
he steals their lightsabers.
He just like, it's like the worst thing you can do if somebody's calling you a hothead is like completely act like a crazy hothead.
They called him a slave or something.
Slave to his emotions. Yeah, they called him a slave to his emotions, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
it triggered.
Well, watch this emotional outburst." And he just is like a huge baby. Yeah. And the Chancellor or whatever sees that outburst too. So then he kind of like
plays on it.
Yeah, he plays it off like he's concerned about him and he could use some guidance and this and that.
But really,
so he's really like, oh yeah, he's got some anger in him. I want that one. And
so he takes him down to a seedy bar. So Palpatine went in his secret session with Anakin.
Yeah,
takes him down to a seedy bar,
the lower levels of Coruscant.
And plays on his hatred of the bureaucracy.
And he kind of makes it seem like, oh, if only the Senate wasn't so corrupt, we could take care of this.
I wish there was somebody powerful enough to
make this guy realize, or just if he could just
punish him. Right.
If he could just fail, then
because he's talking about a corrupt senator.
Then he would self-destruct himself. This corrupt senator, if he failed
in some kind of gambling.
Yeah, he's
gambling ring or something.
Throwing chance dice, craps basically.
Chance cubes.
Yeah, and he makes him.
It insinuates
that Anakin uses the Force to make sure the senator loses.
But I'm pretty sure Palpatine did it.
Really?
Yeah.
I got the impression that Anakin did it. Because Palpatine was...
I got the impression that Palpatine was trying to give Anakin credit and make him feel like
He did a
he
good
wished
thing.
he would have had that idea
Right.
almost. But
Oh, and you guys really see these subtle things in the story differently than me.
so like he's just playing on Anakin because Anakin just doesn't, like you said, won't deal with the bureaucracy well. He just, you see something wrong, you should go and act and fix it. And so he's trying to show him all these things that are wrong that nobody wants to talk about with Coruscant and how unfair it is, and just play on his emotions. So they're down there in complete secret. They have like these hoods on so nobody can tell it's them. So
There was a
like
Gungan
all
down
these
there,
things
scars on
are
his face.
what?
There was a Gungan with scars on his face.
Oh,
Lots of seedy characters.
what else happened in the back?
So then the last flashback was Anakin talking to Obi-Wan. Well, not the last. The last with Anakin in it. He's like, yeah, I want to leave the Jedi. When I was a child, I was told I was going to become a Jedi. I never made a choice. And now I'm old enough to know that I want to see the galaxy and learn. And
Yeah, he thinks he might be able to go be of more help if he doesn't have these rules holding him back.
And so he gives Obi-Wan his lightsaber and says, all right, I'm done. And Obi-Wan's like, well, you understand what this means, and, you know, why don't you think about it for a while?
Well, he basically says, like, if you leave,
Well, that's
No,
later.
but-
it's not safe for you.
He never tells Anakin that.
He did, didn't
Well,
he?
he said something.
He
Yeah, he
said you
does.
won't be able to come back.
Yeah, but he says something about him not being safe. He wouldn't be able to protect him or something.
And Obi-Wan wouldn't be able to protect him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Anakin doesn't know that if Anakin leaves the Order, they will force Obi-Wan out.
So that's the cliffhanger of like the fourth comic, right?
Because he has...
That
There's another flashback with just Obi-Wan and Yoda. And Yoda is like, well, you know what it means if Anakin leaves. You're out. Like, basically...
it's not that he's out. It's that Obi-Wan would have to quit as well because he would have to go with Anakin.
Right, because he vowed to Qui-Gon that he would
And
train
he
him.
knows that Anakin is too dangerous by himself. Because he
So-
could fall. And so Yoda's saying, hey, you know, you took this on and you're a responsible person, so you're going to have to take this to the end. And Obi-Wan's like, yep, I get it.
Yeah, Obi-Wan accepts it. But he doesn't tell Anakin, like,
Right.
any of that. There's different parts of this story arc where I felt like it's really similar relationship as Kanan and Ezra, where Kanan is constantly doubting whether he can actually lead him, and he's worried about him taking the wrong path. And I mean, Obi-Wan was saying some of the exact same things about doubting his
himself.
own abilities to lead. And I don't know if that's like
It's
just
intentional.
those two, or is that
I think-
just those two groups, or is that like every Jedi feels
I think
like
that's
that?
a story trope for the wise advisor, is that they're humble.
Yeah, the good guy's humble.
So they're always doubting themselves, their abilities.
They don't think they're good enough at what they do.
Yeah, that's how I feel, honey. That's why you like me so much and think I'm such a good guy.
Must be working.
So ultimately, Anakin decides to
So-
stay in the Jedi Order. Spoiler.
At the very end, at the very end, I can't remember. It's really cool what he says. I wish I had my comic pulled up.
Trust me,
Read
the
like the-
synopsis was much better because of the
Read like
comic
the
being
last
closed.
page, Tim.
Read like the last page?
Yeah, read like the very ending. It's really good.
Okay. And Obi-Wan says, so this is at the end of the comic. The Republic is swooped in to secure the Debana gas, and basically Obi-Wan used that bureaucracy that Anakin hates to come in and basically establish a forced peace on these people of this planet. So there's going to be peace for at least a couple months while things get sorted out and they figure out for sure that there is no Tabana gas. And So, Obi-Wan basically showed him like,
There's a way to manipulate.
yeah, you can
the rules.
You can play the game and still help people.
Right.
So, Anakin, as Obi-Wan tries to give Anakin his lightsaber back, Obi-Wan says, "The road lies before you, Anakin Skywalker. Will you walk it alone?" And Anakin says, "No, Master. As a Jedi. If you'll show me the way."
Yeah, it was good.
Because he was playing up the reason he's a Jedi is because there's a lot of them and they can all work together and stronger together and all that stuff.
And then Anakin takes his lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back. He's back in the Jedi Order.
There you go.
One thing Anakin...
Obi-Wan and Anakin.
I didn't mention when they had him at that open base, there was a point where Anakin was just alone with the youth.
Yeah, because all the adults went to go murder everybody.
They went on a murder spree. And he was trying to talk some sense into the youth, and he was bringing up how he knows that they care about those old artifacts, and they didn't even know what it was called. And he was like, "It's called art." Like,
yeah.
He's like, "I know you care about it. I know you probably all are hiding some of it somewhere. That was your, you could have that life again. You don't have to have war." And so he's talking some sense into them because they're just kind of going with the flow because what else are they going to do? Like,
right.
So it seems like he kind of talks some sense into them. But then, like, not long later, they're like, "Well, we got to go kill. Sorry." And they just kind of leave him hanging. So he wasn't too successful with his trying to go out and save the world.
They let him go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And Anakin
That's how
continued
he
to say
got
how
him.
he could fix everything. "I can fix everything, but I can't do it alone. I need your help." And then he gets people to team up with him, show some leadership. This planet was crazy. I mean, it's like acid rain looking. There's dragons. There's weird zombie bat things we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very dystopian. And there's giant
pretty
monolithic
mountains above the poison glass.
giant
Yes.
monolithic statues like on the road to Gondor.
Yeah. It's a cool style. It's a style that hasn't really been in Star Wars.
Yeah. It was very, the art and the things on the planet I thought were a little manga inspired.
Yeah. I think we've covered all the ground that needs to be covered.
Hearing you guys describe the issue makes this sound cooler than it was when I read it.
I agree.
I didn't like
How do you know?
I didn't like it as much as I wanted to.
Because I have the same sentiment that talking about it is more entertaining than reading it. The story, the main plot points that they wanted to tell were good.
Yeah.
But the vehicle that they chose to tell them in kind of sucked.
Well, it was the way that they told it. It was a little rushed at times. Like, I don't feel like they took time to sort of establish things as well as they should. Like, it should have been another issue longer.
Well, because the focus was on Anakin and Obi-Wan, not on this planet. This planet was just an excuse to tell the story.
Yeah, but they like rushed through plots. Like, they moved things forward too quickly. There wasn't as much logical character actions as there could have been.
I thought that they did a way better job than they could have done when they, like, sometimes if that's not the major plot, they just don't spend any time.
I felt they could have, told it somewhere else. Some other battle, some other thing. The meat and potatoes are very good, in my opinion, but the plate they served it on sucks.
It was paper, and
Yeah.
it was seeping through.
So you
they
don't
only
like
used
the
one
part
cheap
about
paper
this
plate.
planet at all? Or the people?
I could have liked the planet, but like Tim said, they just blasted through everything, and everyone on the planet was the villain.
Yeah,
Snidely Whiplash villain.
everybody was the bad
Well,
guy.
there was Sarah.
And they didn't the art
But
I
even
thought,
Sarah was bad. She just wanted people to come in and wipe out everybody else.
I thought the art was a little distant and chaotic. Like there's so much crammed onto the page and in every panel. Like he just drew the heck out of this, but it's too much. It needed to be a little plainer, I thought, because it distracted from the story. And it was muted. I don't know. The art was just kind of...
Well, it all has like that greenish haze on it.
Yeah, but that's the colorist. I don't know. But I get why they put the haze on. Like, you can see the coloring difference between Coruscant, where they are, and then everything else on the planet.
But even Coruscant is muted. Like, the colors are pastel instead of, like, poppy, high contrast.
Yeah, they are really, like... They look more like watercolor than bright
inks.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're complaining so much.
We're just talking about it.
We're just talking, not complaining. Jeesh.
So what's your rating?
8.
For the whole series is an 8?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 7.
I'm somewhere in the 7 range. 7.7, I'll say.
It was good. I mean, I definitely would recommend reading it. It's not...
Or just listening to this.
I really like the
flashbacks.
I feel like the prequels are what is so rushed when it's just like how he jumps to the dark side so quickly.
Well, this is fleshing out that it wasn't quick.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I like all these, like, getting more history I think is really awesome.
It definitely enriches the Obi-Wan Anakin relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder why they didn't tell something like this on, like... The Clone Wars does do it, but I don't think even the Clone Wars ever so directly, like...
Show how...
had the message that was at the end of the comic.
And does it show how the...
linked Obi-Wan and Anakin are.
Right.
Does it show Palpatine trying to manipulate him from early on? Yeah. Oh.
But, like, this is like the entire arc of the Clone Wars in one comic series. And I still, like I said, I think it did it better. The establishing the importance of the relationship of Anakin and Obi-Wan. So, there you go. Letters. What are we going to do next?
Well, the next one, according to this comic book, was Han Solo. We could do that, or we could jump back to one of the other series.
How many issues is Han Solo?
It's another 5-issue miniseries.
We could do that.
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Han Solo. So I'm logging into the Evernote as we speak. Here, it'll be easier on my phone. What do we get? We got emails. Oh, they're just from my servers. That's good. I like that music.
Are you looking at current feedback?
I am. And it's in order?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This one's from Jace. He says, "Hey, nerds." Oops, I just jumped me to the bottom. Jace signing in. I don't have a call sign, so ... I think he's trying to say something. I don't know whether to be happy or sad that hashtag Rebels block is over. Okay, yeah, I'm happy. I was interested to see the new director for the standalone Han Solo movie. I wonder what the movie would have been like if they kept the original directors on. Guess we will never know. Yeah, we really won't. Same thing with Gareth Edwards. I'm not going to have any clue what Rogue One would have been like.
Lost to time.
Anyway, I'm moving into a new house, and my dad has decided that he wants to build a pergola over the deck. Strongly recommend. I was wondering if you got any tips for him, Tim.
No.
Or any tips, Tim, for me. Got any tips?
Do you have any tips, Tim?
For me?
Okay.
Do you have any tips for him?
Yeah. Yeah, so my best one would be make sure that your main pillars are super level.
You know what my tip would be? Paint everything first.
Oh,
then put it up, and then touch up the spots that you need to touch up.
That would be really good advice. Paint it first.
Yeah.
And you know what? The other bit of advice I would give is be more ornate than you think you want to do it. Because then when you get it up, you're gonna wish you would have made it a little fancier.
I wish I would have beveled that right here.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I wish I would have done better. Next time I build a pergola, I have lots of thoughts.
You should build a pergola over the pool.
No.
And make sure it's a really small pergola.
We just have this tiny yard full of pergolas.
We need to put in a new feature so that we can put a pergola over it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What if I put in a pond?
Oh my god.
That's where our koi pond could be back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But then you'd need to build a pagoda, not a pergola.
There was
the pagoda's we're gonna have the pagoda when we build the pool. We're gonna put a real pool
toad in our garage the other night.
Cool.
You're gonna have no yard left. You're just going to have features.
We have almost no yard now. We're not gonna.
I'm not giving up a lot.
We're not gonna add any more features for a while.
Also, we have some chickens, and we just finished basically a small house-sized coop is what he meant for them, and now we have to drag it to our new house. Chickens are the worst when they grow up, or at least my chickens are. So I have questions for you, Jace. Where do you live? Do you live like in a city, or do you live kind of in the country?
We don't want your address.
These chickens? Yeah. I want to
tell me where you live.
Where do you live?
No, I want to know how you have these chickens.
Most people don't care. They just do it.
And why do you still have your chickens if they're old? Don't you eat them after a while?
No, not egg chickens.
Mm.
No, you don't eat them. You let them lay eggs, and then you eat their eggs.
So, there's this local radio station that does this little bit that's called like Second Date Update or something. And it's like about somebody will like write in or call in and they'll be like, I thought that I had this great date, blah, blah, blah. Everything went fine. But now the person won't even call me back. And so like, they act like they have no idea what happened with the date, what went wrong. So then the radio station guy calls the person and says, so-and-so reached out to us to find out what went wrong on your date. Just tell us what happened. And then they're always like, oh my God, they were the worst. And they like go on. And it's like a completely different story than the first person's view of this perfect date. So they just completely trash this person. And obviously the whole time the person is on the line and they can hear everything that's being said. So the one I heard today was about this woman this like younger lady, I don't even know how old she was, probably in her mid or late 20s. And she called and said like she thought the date went fine. She's like, now he's like won't even return her calls, blah, blah, blah. So they called him and he was like, I don't know why, but the date was like at her house and she must live on a farm. And he was talking about how he was completely traumatized because they were outside amongst these barnyard animals and she had a chicken. She like picked up a chicken and asked him if he was hungry, and she killed the chicken right in front of him with her bare hands, like snapped its neck and pulled its head off, and then went in the house and cooked that chicken for dinner. And he was just saying how he can't even think about chicken anymore. He can't smell chicken. He can't eat chicken. It just makes him disgusted.
Sounds like a wimp.
I can't believe you think those stories are true.
I don't care if they're true. They're funny. I mean, if they're lying, both sides are pretty good actors. But
I would have been blown away if you had killed a chicken.
I know the woman on the talk show was like, aren't you at all impressed that she's able to kill this animal with her bare hands? I don't know for sure.
Did she use enough butter?
No, see, there's things like if she prepared it a certain way, I know it's a lie.
They didn't get into all that detail, I don't think.
Because there's methods of preparing chicken that you have to soak the chicken. And like if it was really a farm person who would murder a chicken on a whim to eat it, they would know the correct way to cook said chicken.
Mm-hmm. They didn't get into that many details about it, but I just thought that was
What
funny.
station is it?
It's on 102.3.
Oh.
Continuing, Jay says,
Anyway, that
well,
reminded me of
that's it for
chickens.
me. Nerd Jace signing out.
Jace, do you kill your own chickens and eat them?
P.S. Jen, in the last episode, you said that I looked pretty young in my pictures. Well, that's because I'm only 17. Yay!
I wish I was 17.
I don't.
Why? Do you really?
Kinda.
You wish you didn't have the responsibility of a 17-year-old.
You mean she wishes she did have the
Right.
responsibility?
You mean the opposite thing of what
Yeah.
you said.
PPS, where can I get some pics of you guys? Because I want to make you guys some awesome trading cards. What?
That sounds cool.
He and I have had a regular conversation about how now your rookie card will be worth the most because you've been on every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how Jen's is worth the least.
Yeah, naturally.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Because I'm the woman.
That has nothing
My
to do
value
with
is lower.
You get your rookie cards are worth 43 cents for every dollar that our rookie cards are worth.
Oh.
It's only fair.
Yep.
it.
Fair square.
Where can you get pics? I think there's some on the Star Wars Nerds Unite.
There's definitely
Facebook
some
page.
on the Facebook page, but they're probably old.
They're probably not appropriate for a trading card.
They have our heads. Like, what else you need you want like us with a baseball bat?
Yeah,
and a
maybe.
pose?
I don't know. Something cool.
Holding a microphone.
Yeah.
You with your hands pursed, ready to type. Jen holding a comic book.
I think we should take some pictures for him. Ooh, just like that.
Okay.
That'd be hilarious.
So the reason that I couldn't remember if he was the person that wrote in that was super young, because there's somebody who's
He was-
like 14.
No, he was not the super
He sent us the pictures from the store.
Right.
I know that, but I couldn't remember if he was the same person that also was 14 because he looks so young. But now I know he's not, because I
He
looked
is
it up.
not officially not the youngest.
He's not the
listener.
youngest. He's probably the second youngest.
Okay.
I don't know.
Here,
Nolan's friend.
Well, Nolan's friend's like 14 or 15, so
He's like at least the third youngest.
I
was-
guess.
like 13 when whatever. Anyway, this one is from Jesus, and this is one of my fave emails all time. Here we go.
Really?
Yeah, for real. It's really good.
Just because of the potted meat?
No, not. Did I say that?
We already read
Okay.
the pot and meat one.
This is
Here we go.
a response to the potted meat.
Hello, SWNU. This is going to be a really long email, so I'll divide it by hashtag Rebels block episodes. He's the second person that put hashtag Rebel block instead of Rebels block.
Okay.
Episode 109. Tim, your
You're
synopsis was
worried
great.
about a hashtag embedded in an email.
Tim, your synopsis was great. That's what he says. Not Jen great, but great.
Not quite Jenner Mason great.
Quote, make Mando strong again, end quote. That's a t-shirt. So I made one. You can show, but probably not use. That should get posted on social media soon. I
was going to put it in the email, but Evernote was being a jerk.
It's all right. It's a picture of, what's his name? His name's
Gar Saxon.
Gar Saxon. And, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love the episode mostly because I love the Mandalorians and their cubist Frank Lloyd Wright aesthetic. Also, the conclusion to Sabine's story arc was satisfying. Tim, I feel you. You're not insecure. You're the sensitive kind. Thanks, Jesus. Josh, a palapa is a Mayan word, not Spanish, and it's used to describe pergolas too, at least where I'm from. San Antonio. Episode 110. Through Imperial Eyes was an awesome episode and the genesis of hashtag Hot Callus. Now, I had not heard of this hashtag.
I like it.
Did anybody look it up?
No.
I was just trying to see
I
if it
think
was
he
real.
created it, didn't he?
I don't know.
Again,
This-
hashtag embedded in an email.
It's important.
Clicking on it literally does nothing.
It's important.
But it has a hyperlink.
Not only is this a great character study of Callus as the disenchanted Imperial, but the cunning and genius of Thrawn. Having worked in security myself, the stress of having to befriend the bad guys
Here it
is
is, Hot
well
Callus.
conveyed by David Oyelowo's voice.
They like
There's a
super
whole lot-
overdid his.
So there's a whole
Mutton chop.
Instagram thing of Hot Callus.
Wow.
Wow.
Also, I get chills every time I hear Thrawn's theme music. I like Secret Cargo only because it showed how clever Harrison Dula is by outwitting, somewhat, Thrawn by making the TIE Defender pull up from the nebula. Although that exploding the nebula to get away thing was a little deus ex machina, it was nice to see Gold Leader, although he didn't sound drunk enough. Good one. Also, way better than a Hondo episode is another t-shirt. And he sent a picture of that in too. And I posted that on social media today. Hashtag Fridge Talk is the best, but I guess I'm a moron or, poor. And yes, I have a new job. Jen, stop stalking me. What a creep. And a new tattoo. My new coworkers are great, but miss Ben a lot. Miss your man Musk, Benny. Gross.
He doesn't explain why he is a moron. He just...
Because you probably said something about...
You said how stupid it was to have certain kinds of refrigerators.
Right, but he doesn't
how...
say which kind he
So
has.
he
maybe
probably
he doesn't
has,
want to give me more ammo for him.
freezer on the top. Yeah.
Right. So
Or
having freezer on top is less moronic than...
He might have the freezer
French
on
door.
bottom. This like the huge drawer.
Right, like he got a freezer on top one and flipped it upside down.
That's
to look
what
trendy.
That's what my old fridge was. My old fridge was just 2 doors, but the freezer was on the bottom.
No, that's not true.
It was a drawer.
You had a vegetable drawer.
My freezer was on the
Why did
bottom.
my ice
No, it
cream keep
wasn't,
melting?
Jen.
I had that refrigerator before I knew who you were.
Jenny, that
I know
fridge,
what my refrigerator
I am 100%
was.
telling you the freezer was in the top. I was the one that had to do like the ice cubes, and
Is
it
it still
annoyed
in
the
the
crap
old
out of
house?
me. Yeah.
We should go over there.
Well, how would we know? We haven't been in there for years. They
Well,
could
it
have
was there
gotten a
when you
new
left.
Yes.
Yeah, they haven't changed fridges.
Why would
I was over there
if you
literally.
have the rare freezer on bottom, fridge on top, 2-door fridge,
They
why
don't.
would you get rid of it?
So
don't.
you're saying I didn't have a freezer on the bottom?
No, you had like vegetable drawers and stuff in the bottom. Ask Junior, ask Tamika,
I'll ask Nolan.
Jackie. Go ahead. The freezer was on top.
I think he's naming all my family members that used to live in my house at one time.
Kindon.
Kindon never lived there.
Yes, he did. He was over there all the time. They had the big room, and we slept in that little tiny room.
He lived in Florida then, though. He was never there.
He was always there, it seemed like, to me.
Oh, whatever.
Episode 111. I think I'm alone in this, but I really liked this episode. Again, shows how smart and cunning Thrawn is, even when he's not in the episode. Because he's the only one that pointed out that Chopper was in all of the places where the rebels attacked. He's the one who looks at the small details that everyone else misses. And I loved the last act, when AP5 was lost in space and got his Zen moment. Loved it so much, drew a possible encounter with another lost robot, which is also going to be shown on social media. I enjoyed Jen's synopsis, even if it was long. I liked it because it was detailed. I don't think synopsis should be that short, Tim. Josh, I missed your snarkiness, and Waspgate was really funny. Oh boy. Episode 112. I thought Ezra was unnecessary in this episode and just added a layer of complication as to why the rebels don't know about Obi-Wan.
I agree.
I don't think it's enough that Ben told Ezra that he wasn't necessary. I would have been fine if Ben told him that it wasn't the time yet, but then Princess Leia would have contacted Ben in less than a year, so really doesn't make sense. But I really enjoyed Ben and Ezra's campfire scene. Other than that, this episode was perfect. I loved the samurai showdown and thought the ending was both epic and personal at the same time. Loved it. So I made a poster. Josh, thunder is Zeus bowling. He answered your science corner question for you.
Oh, I didn't get that until just now.
He did make a poster. I posted that'll show up on social media too. Okay, and that one was really cool. I like how he did. Like he did like graphic design on it, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 113. Finally, the end of the hashtag Rebels block. Loved the finale. It wasn't flashy, and it didn't have to be. I loved that the whole season was building up the Empire's might and toning down the Jedi mysticism. Thrawn was playing the long con, and it finally paid off. He was going to win, and only the Bendu. This impossible supernatural thing stopped him. Also, hashtag Hot Callus. I'm super excited about hashtag Summer Comics, and I look forward to other special guests, teenagers, toddlers, pesky bugs that make Tim scream like a girl. Whatever it is, you guys make an entertaining, thoughtful, and totes professional podcast. Potted meat for life.
Still hasn't explained what potted meat is.
It's crockpot meat. It's gotta be.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's a weird phrase. It's just weird all around.
This one's from Chris Kawa. Subject, nothing to see here. Move along.
You notice how I started adding the subjects?
Yeah,
Because people kept sending subjects with content.
Yeah. Hey, SWNU crew. Congrats on finally getting through #Rebels block. I thought it was a good finale, but I agree with you. Twin Sons was better. I'm looking forward to the #Summer of Comics. A few months ago, I all but closed my pull box except for 3 comics, and none of them are Star Wars, so I'm looking forward to listening to the upcoming episodes. I will also try to refrain from keeping important lines in the meat of the letter and not the proverbial crust that is the subject line.
It's not even crust. It's like the lid on top of the pie to make sure that the pie doesn't get crushed.
It really is. That's a good analogy. In regards to Ron Howard becoming the director for the Solo movie, I, like Jen, have never heard anything bad about him, and I have faith he will be able to make a good film with the pieces that have been left. I can't remember who it was who sent in the letter last episode, but it had to do with the Bendu being the most powerful Force user so far in Star Wars, and them not liking that, and would rather it be Sidious or Yoda. I would disagree with both. I think Bogan, Ashla, and the father from Mortis in the Clone Wars animation were the most powerful we've seen. I mean, they're literally the embodiment of the Force. And only because everyone else has given suggestions for baby names, I will give you mine. For the love of God, don't name him some generic name like Chris. I can't begin to tell you how many times my name is said, not to me, a day. Oh,
Like,
okay,
it's
I got
just
it.
said
Yeah.
in general.
Lols.
He hears
Hey,
it
Chris.
everywhere.
Yeah.
What?
At one point, there were 5 of us at work. Anyway, haha. Can't wait for the start of comics and the next episode. May the Force be with you. P.S. A deck? He's building a deck? This will push back Project Toothpick months.
Don't worry, because it'll probably be a decade before he's finished. Don't waste your time on the deck portion of your project.
Oh, man. I love the idea that he was building a toothpick replica of your parents' house. Oh, man. That is so funny. Yeah. Yeah. Have we come up with any better baby names? I don't think we really talked about it for a while.
No, everything I say, you shoot down.
Chris is off the table. That is true.
Why is it off the table?
It was never on the table.
Yeah, it was never on the table. This one's from Drew. He says, the subject is, the pie lid says, unprofessional. SWNU crew, WASP episode. I don't believe I sent in a letter after the WASP episode. Picture me waiting in an airport terminal at 4 a.m. Then the attack happened. Then I realized it was Tim screaming. I was rolling on the floor, cracking up as people stared at me. I've re-listened to that many times. I want to set Tim screaming as my ringtone. Oh, boy. I should have cut that out.
No, you shouldn't have. That was the best part.
Summer of Comics. Sad. #Rebels block is over, but looking forward to the Summer of Comics. Where do you guys recommend to get your comics in a digital format? Comixology.
Isn't it in the Unlimited now?
Some of them are.
Oh, they're not all in it?
No, it's like a select number. It'd be like the first volume of stuff.
Because they have like a subscription service that's a monthly
Yeah, it's like
set
$8 a month or whatever, and you can get
tens of thousands of backlog.
Yeah, there's tons of comics.
Otherwise, you have to buy them for their MSRP, which is...
Yeah, or, I mean, you can get them on sale. They do sales a lot on the trades digitally, and you can get them. There's also... you can get them on Amazon sometimes. Like if it syncs, Amazon syncs with Comixology. So if you scope sales on Comixology, you can also like price check on Amazon. And a lot of times, for no reason, Amazon will have a trade for like $3.
Yeah.
And
the digital version of the trade.
Right. And then but the digital version on Comixology is like
normal
17
price,
or something.
Yeah.
So that's a good spot to check, but I would go back and forth between those two.
And the Comixology app, I would recommend you use a tablet or a laptop and do guided view. Guided view is awesome. What?
As opposed to what? I mean, what are you going to use if you don't use a tablet?
Like a phone.
Like a phone.
Oh, jeez.
You can do it on the phone.
It's
Some
just
people
hard.
really like it. I don't care for it.
I would never even try to do it on a phone.
A big, bright tablet, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
I've never even tried to look on my phone.
The other thing you could do, Marvel Unlimited has Star Wars comics too. That one is more like what you're thinking, Josh. It's like a year behind, but that's perfect for us. And it's only like $8 a month too. So maybe that's our answer to the comic problem. You know, all this Patreon money that we've got flowing into the coffers, we should use it to buy you a new mic holder. Mason's mic holder, he keeps working the screws too hard.
What is up with this?
That's
Yeah,
what broke.
that's the old thing that broke.
Oh.
He's got the cable dangling
I
the
just
mic
keep
down.
forgetting to look on Amazon.
Yeah,
they're not expensive.
Yeah, it's like $3. Yeah. Here we go. Jen's
You're the one with all the money.
Yeah, I know. Jen's disapproving sighs are the best. They crack me up. Season 4 trailer. Did you see Maul?
Saul.
Oh, Saw. Sorry.
Saul.
He typed Saul. He meant Saw.
That's why I said Saw.
I know.
And then,
But she's correcting you, Saul. Like,
Right.
who the heck is Saul?
right. And then you sighed. And then he laughed. Bah ha ha ha. Rebels Season 4 trailer. Man, that pause while you watch the Season 4 trailer was like listening to Neo learn Kung Fu in the Matrix. I loved it. Whoa. Old stuff. Who was the guy that sent in the audio of him shredding the guitar? I read old guy the first time I read it, and it's just because old stuff is above guy. He didn't say old guy.
His name
Who was the guy that sent in the audio of him shredding the guitar, then busting into some Star Wars music?
Yeah, he was
That was
from
Casey
California.
Trask.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from California or something. He's in I can't remember the band. He's in some hardcore metal band, and they tour
Europe.
everywhere.
They toured Europe.
They're a big deal. Was he from San Diego? I don't know.
Somewhere in California.
You should play that again once you get your mixer hooked up, or that dude should send in some more. So straight up, Casey, I don't know if you're still listening to the podcast, but if you do hear this, give us a real audio file. Send it into letters@starwarsnerdsunite.com, and we will totally shred your metal on the podcast live. Unprofessional. That was the guy that was mad because Jen took a phone call from her dad on the Era,
I
which
think
was
that was David Jeffrey, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
maybe it was.
I think it was.
Nah, who cares? Which was solid
well, I'm
gold.
just saying.
If you did a clip show, that would make it for sure. Classic stuff, like Seinfeld making his parents part of the show. Maul. So I'm confused now. Maul has died twice? Is his first death not canon? Mason, nice work pointing out the fight style change. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it. Very interesting insight.
He has died twice, but he didn't officially die the first time.
Yeah. Well, I
So
think he's died another time and he didn't die.
No.
Isn't there a time in Clone Wars?
No, he gets away in Clone Wars.
But he goes nuts.
Yeah, he goes insane.
Okay. I thought he ended up like he was in another death-like state.
No.
Next up, Ice Maker. I was still waiting on more data. Mason needs to do his water test with your water. What water test?
Take some of your water and freeze it in my freezer.
Oh.
Oh.
And vice versa. Some of my water in your freezer.
It will
It would
taste
have
gross.
to be enclosed. Because I can buy ice. So we have another listener that sends in an email about this.
Buying ice is not the same because what happens when the ice forms is the little air bubbles get trapped inside. So once the ice is already made, the process of trapping the air bubbles inside that would make the flavor are gone.
I'm telling you that the ice sitting in my fridge right now, if it's in there for another few days, the ice that I bought at the grocery store will taste like garbage.
That still doesn't say whether it's the water.
It's the fridge. I'm telling you, it's the fridge. We can do your little test,
Yeah, you just
but we
give
have
me
to
some water.
enclose the water.
How does
What do
enclosing
you mean
your
enclose
water,
the
change
water?
anything?
I don't know what you mean by
Fine,
that.
never mind.
No, what do you mean enclose?
He's saying if
I'd
he's
just
going
like
to take some
put
of
it
my
in,
water,
put it in a Nalgene. Make it as fresh,
hermetically sealed environment.
Exactly.
And then put it in the freezer?
Yeah.
But that's like
You'll never get the ice out.
You'll never. Well, you won't get to. You won't test it if you seal it up. The whole point is that there's something in the air quality in our freezer that makes
Well, what you're
gross.
trying to isolate is whether it's the water or if it's
Right.
something else.
It's not the water
Oh.
though, because I can have ice that tastes good out of my freezer, as long as I've cleaned that powder off. Yes. You just don't get to it after I do a fresh batch.
It's
I
one
do.
batch.
It is. It's like one batch.
2 good cubes.
Maybe it's just your nostrils are poisoned from all the bleach from cleaning it out. And then you're just sitting there waiting for the first click of the ice. No. It's done.
Come
Fresh
on.
ice.
No.
Where's my eyes?
This one's from Mateus. He says, Star Wars ships. Talk about Star Wars ships. And then he sends...
It's a link to this app that I didn't know if you guys had Telegram. I didn't, and I didn't install it.
What is it?
I don't know. It's some app.
Oh, I want to see it. He sent in pictures.
No, that was before. That was a previous email.
Okay.
This is a new email that he sent.
All right, we got to do that. All right, Randall. He says, what's up, Star Wars nerds? This is Randall again. So I just listened to your last episode, 0 Hour, and also just found out about the Rebels Season 4 trailer. Here's what I noticed. Oh, he does a good job. I remember this. When Hera says, an evil so terrible that it tried to black out the stars, it might be a Force Awakens Starkiller base reference.
It's not. It's a way different time frame.
When it shows Ezra and Sabine on the big wolf, Sabine looks like she was knocked out.
I would agree.
Ezra is also holding a box with what looks to be Sabine's helmet on top. In the next scene, there is an air fight with the Ghost. The two TIE fighters look like TIE defenders. The one with shields and a hyperdrive. Later, we see Saw Gerrera. Looks like we will see him again. Mixed feelings. How do you feel about that, Jen?
Yeah.
But a lot older than last time. So what's the time gap between season 3 and 4? We see Hera jump into hyperspeed.
You can't judge it by the looks of Saul.
Yeah. He could age, 10 years in a month.
He's so crazy. But yeah, the time does seem to be a little off, unless there's like 10 years in between.
I don't think it's a 10-year gap. I think it's like a year or two.
But even Obi-Wan doesn't look old enough yet.
He looks old enough.
He aged too fast.
I think he looks fine.
We see Hera jump into hyperspeed while jumping through a landing bay. Super awesome. We also see Mr. Mutton Chops with some sweet new hair. Again, begging the question, what's the time jump? We see a black armored stormtrooper. They may be shadow troopers, aka black hole troopers or death troopers. Later, we see Grand Admiral Thrawn trying to shoot a TIE defender, most likely stolen by rebels. And that's all the small details I got. Anyway, congratulations on the baby, and in my opinion, I think you should name it whatever you like, and not be pressured by others. Other than that, thanks for reading my email. Till the next one, may the Force be with you. I thought he was going to say, that said, here's my suggestion.
Yeah.
Maybe we should name him Randall. Jace sends in another email. Sup, nerds? Nerd Jace signing in.
Do you remember that guy, Randall Emmert, that used to always come in? To Sea Deli?
Yeah.
Yeah. He posts stupid stuff on pjstar.com. I don't know why it came into my head, but Randall.
Wow.
You don't have too many Randalls.
Yeah, that's true. Sup, nerds? Nerd Jace signing in. Still don't have a call sign yet. Last week, I went back and reread the Kanan comic book, and it was good all over again, except for the last issue. You were right, Jen. It sucks eggs. So Jay sent that email in, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and read some Star Wars comics. So I started reading some of the Darth Vaders, like the ones at the end.
Yeah.
So thanks, Jace. You sort of motivated me. Anyway, I was kind of on some sort of Kanan hype, and so I decided to draw a picture of blind Kanan. Tell me what you guys think. Well, I can't wait for the next episode. May the Force be with you. Nerd Jace signing out. So I posted this on social media too. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Did this come out yet? I don't think so.
I haven't seen it out. He kind of looks like Jared Grab.
Yeah, a little bit. Famous artist, music artist, Jared Grab. Look him up. Grabb. He's got very folky music. It's one of my faves.
Hipster music. It's pretty hipster.
Nah, I don't think so.
Like, you anticipate the locales that he plays in are like old brick buildings.
Yeah.
And people have like
he plays
gaslight.
He plays to hipsters,
lights.
But his music isn't hipster.
Okay. So hipsters love it, but it's not hipster music. Got it.
I wouldn't call it hipster music though.
Okay. But hipsters love it.
Well, not enough of them, obviously, or
Yeah,
everyone
world
would know who
famous.
he was.
Or there's just not enough hipsters.
There you go. Must be it. So, Nerd Jace, I like your drawing. I think it's really nice. You did a really good job with the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Hair's really
There's
hard.
a lot of detail in the hair.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. I want to know how you drew that. Like, what, did you do it with like pencil? Like colored
looks
pencil?
like colored pencils
yeah, it
or
looks
crayon.
like colored pencil.
Or did you draw it on like an iPad or something with an Apple Pencil?
iPad?
Yeah, you can totally do some
No
amazing
way.
stuff on iPads.
Does iPad have
No
good
way.
fake paper like background?
Yeah. Well, he could have textured all that.
Well, like it's like super.
I
don't-
think this is a real piece of paper.
It looks like a real piece of paper. Is my vote.
Oh, I do see a pencil mark down at the bottom. Whatever. Anyway, this one's from Anthony. He says, "What's up, everyone? First, I have to agree with Tim. Yes. I'd never order the same meal as someone I am dining with. 2 different meals so you can pick off the other plate is the way to go. Now, for the random question. Why didn't Yoda and Obi-Wan take infant Luke and Leia with them? The Jedi took younglings from their families to train them, so why did it change with the twins? They thought it would be better to give them up for adoption, grow older, and form attachments before training Luke. That worked well for his father. I'd love to hear your thoughts."
They were trying to just hide their existence completely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is always, I mean, since episode 3 came out, this has been my biggest thing that I can't quite get my head around. And I've heard tons of explanations for it and justifications and all the new canon stuff. A lot of it is like trying to answer that question. Why would they leave him, and why would Obi-Wan not interact with Luke? And I just don't buy it. I think it's a crock. But
I think
But
they
what?
didn't.
What's your-
They wanted them to think the babies. They didn't. Nobody knew there was 2. First of all, and they wanted them to think that they died
so
when Padme died.
Why would Obi-Wan not just take the baby?
Well, it would seem kind of a coincidence if the pregnant Padme
nobody
dies
knew-
and then, I just inherited this infant.
But nobody knew where Obi-Wan was. Nobody ever found him.
So here's my attempt. I think that Yoda figured out that the Jedi way was not the right way. Like, it obviously failed. So
Okay.
he wanted them to grow up to build those relationships, and Obi-Wan and Yoda could not give it to them because it's so ingrained in them to not.
So instead he put them into situations where they were in danger.
But they weren't really in danger.
But no one was around to actually protect them.
Obi-Wan
were
had to
around to
stay
protect
there
him.
his whole life. to
Obi-Wan
protect him.
protected Luke, and Bail Organa was one of the most powerful people in the galaxy.
But they didn't. I mean, they didn't know that they were going to have any kind of force powers whatsoever. So how would they necessarily know they would ever train them in the future anyway?
They suspected that they would.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were the children of the most powerful Jedi.
I don't know.
Okay.
So anyway,
I still don't.
It doesn't seem that weird to
still
me
don't-
that
I
they
still
would
don't
I think
hide
they
it.
wanted them to have loving relationships.
Yoda.
No, that's what I'm telling you. Yoda had 900 years of fighting against love. Right? Fighting
I
against
thought that
attachment.
the whole Jedi, they couldn't have any attachment. So how could they be parents?
They would be sucky parents.
Well, they would take them from little babies and train them.
Not babies.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, from babies.
That's how the Jedi Order had been for thousands of years, and it failed. And Yoda, being
So
wise,
now-
acknowledges that they failed.
Now, when it's the most precarious, is the time he's going to abandon it.
Yes,
That seems...
because it already failed. Maybe he got a force vision from the Bendu. We don't know.
Well,
Maybe he had a premonition of he saw the future.
that's the only thing that I can come up with. They saw that was what was supposed to happen. That was the only chance they had or something.
I think it'd be kind of weird if they took on some infants.
I mean, that's how it
That
used to
would be
work.
a funny.
They would take the kids as soon as they knew they were force sensitive.
Yeah.
Because
Who
that
took
way they
care of
wouldn't
them?
have attachments.
Oh.
Droids.
I
Yeah,
think if
yeah.
they did one of these short little videos of Yoda and Obi-Wan waking up in the middle of the night with like the baby monitor going off and taking care of them,
That sounds like a t-shirt.
changing diapers.
Obi-Wan juggling 2 toddlers with a poopy diaper stain on his robes.
Yeah, that would be funny.
We could name the kid Obi-Wan. I know it's the summer of comics, but are you going to do Empire's End and Thrawn books?
Yeah?
I thought we did the Empire's End.
No, we didn't do Empires.
Are you serious?
No. We haven't done it.
I read it.
Yeah? I haven't finished the book.
I haven't finished Thrawn.
You guys need to get your ducks in a row.
Oh, yeah? How many of those have you read?
None.
No.
I never said I would.
Also, are you going to do the new Vader comic or wait until the series is released? I think you mean like the trade. Yeah, we're going to wait for the trade.
There should be a trade pretty soon, right? The first 6?
No, only the first 2 are out, I think,
Oh.
of the new series.
Did we finish the old Vader comic?
No, we haven't finished it. I think the only ones that we'll do concurrent will be the ones that lead up to The Last Jedi.
Yeah, probably. So Empire's End and Thrawn, we need to do those. Yeah, we're going to, but I don't want to interrupt Summer of Comics, so we got to do those outside of the normal weekly. Sincerely, Tony. I really need a nickname because Tony is boring. Lols.
T-Dog.
Oh my gosh, they did it at the same time. There it is. Anthony Lonick is now T-Dog. This one's from Icy Spidey.
I have a funny story. There's this. So at work, you know about Agile?
I call it Agile, but yeah.
Okay. We do Agile, and we have value team meetings, which for people who don't know, the 500-foot view of
give us the 10,000
value.
Give us the 10,000 foot.
Is everyone gets together, and we have these little cards that say how much work our tasks are going to take, and we give them the value for how much time. So something that might take a day would get 1 point or 4 points, depending on the scales you use. And you give values to all these cards. And so that's how you can figure out how many people you have, so how many work hours you have, and how much stuff you can get done in a week. So that's what these value team meetings are for. And there's this guy, Krishna, who I don't remember how it happened, but somebody called him K-Dog one time, and he hates it. And so we always... Anytime he's responsible for something, because you put like sticky notes on things to say when not all the information's there.
Yeah.
And so we always write down K-Dog if he's responsible for it, and he hates it.
That's awesome.
So maybe T-Dog won't like his name. Is that what you're saying?
I imagine T-Dog's going to like it.
I am 100% sure he would love it. Next email is from Icy Spidey.
How am I missing all these? I never have
The end
the
of
same
Rebels
emails.
block. What's up, Nerd Squadron? Nerd Force signing in. Just recently listened to your Twin Suns and 0 Hour episodes, and I just want to say that Mason did a fantastic job breaking down the poetic duel between Obi-Wan and Maul. I absolutely love this conclusion to Maul, how even though he carried so much hate for Obi-Wan that in the end, all that didn't matter, and they were able to find a common ground of respect and hope right before Maul died. Being such the lightsaber junkie that I am, I have also read a lot about the different forms like Shicho and Zhuyo, which made this fight particularly interesting to watch with the subtle shifts in forms. So that's pretty high praise coming from Icy Spidey for you there, Josh.
Yeah, I know.
He's the lightsaber aficionado
yeah.
of the Star Wars Nerds Unite podcast. One of my favorite moments in 0 Hour was when Hera jumped to hyperspace through an Imperial docking bay.
So it's not from 0 Hour. It's from the trailer for season 4. He got his...
I am digging
info.
these recent exciting jump scenes from Han coming out of hyperspace right above Starkiller Base, Cassian making the jump off Jeddah, and now Hera literally making the jump through a ship. So awesome. With Rebels Block coming to an end, hashtag Rebels Block, I am curious about what is everyone's favorite Rebels season finale so far. Good question. Mine would have to be season 2. Just doesn't get any better than Ahsoka versus Vader. Revenge is not the Jedi way. Ahsoka, I'm no Jedi. Still gives me goosebumps. That's the voices.
Vader was not good.
Very excited for the summer of comics. Nerd 4 signing out. So yeah, without a doubt, mine's season 2 finale.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Hands
I don't
down.
even remember what season 1 finale was.
I'm not sure I do either anymore.
It was the... It had something to do with Maul, but I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't Maul.
I don't think
Maybe
Maul
Maul
was
came in
season
season 2.
Yeah, I don't think Maul was in season 1.
What was it? I don't know.
Oh, was it the one where they went into the Jedi Temple?
Was
oh,
it the
no,
one with
they
Vader?
killed the Inquisitor.
This one's from Ben. This one's subject, or the pin top, or the pie top is Nasty Ice. Hey guys, I wanted to address something a little off the Star Wars topic here, but when have you guys ever been able to stay on topic anyways? Mostly never. You guys have been complaining about your ice for a while. I know you've already changed your water filter, cleaned your freezer out, and all the normal tricks, but have you talked to your neighbors yet to ask how their ice tastes? No, I don't talk to my neighbors. Maybe you guys are kind of like me and don't like to talk to your neighbors much. Yes, yes. But what a better conversation for breaking the ice. Haha. That's a good point. And actually, such a good point that it has swayed me. And next time I see my neighbor, I'm going to ask her. Another idea would be to buy some bottled water and freeze that in trays in your freezer. If that ice tastes good, you know you've got a water problem on your hands. So here's the deal.
We have some trays.
But I have Star Wars cube trays, but I only use tap water. I did not use bottled water. And the ice did taste nasty, but it didn't taste nasty at first. I'd like to point out again. All right, I'm going to ask you one question related to Star Wars just to keep things slightly on topic. Why? For all of you, both individually and collectively, if you had to turn one Star Wars bad guy from the dark side to join you in the rebellion, who would it be and why?
I really like this hashtag hot callus theme going on. I'm pretty happy with him turning.
He already turned, though.
I know. I can't think of who I would like better than that.
Like the least original idea ever.
I'm just saying I really like that move.
Paleon.
Who's
Gilad
Paleon?
Paleon.
He's not canon.
He's not canon anymore, but that's who I would have picked. I always thought he was going to become a good guy, but he never did. He stuck to his Imperial roots.
But he was a good Imperial.
Yes, he was.
It's got to be canon, I would presume.
Well, I just picked someone who wasn't canon, so you do whatever you
But
want.
we're a podcast
know.
about the Star Wars canon.
I
You know
guess
what?
Kylo.
Kylo, he's already going to turn good. We've already talked about this.
My favorite
Uncreative.
theory is that he is already good. And
Right.
he's trying to secretly...
He's a spy.
Yeah, he's a spy. And then he killed
He killed his dad to go deeper in to
just
get
to
more
make
cred,
more of a... Yeah, make it more of an impactful.
more believable.
And his dad knew.
Yeah.
His dad helped him.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Such a good theory.
So Josh, the
I don't
Tosh.
know. Like, most of the
who do you
bad
pick?
guys are, like, purely evil.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Ray Sloan. No, not Ray Sloan. Sienna.
That's a good one. It's because you're a hopeless romantic, Josh.
She's probably already turned, though, because she's in prison now.
But she's still, like, at the end, she's like, no,
I don't think she's still...
hold on.
I don't know.
I made a vow.
I have to reread that book for my book club.
She's like, what's his face in Game of Thrones? Which Game of Thrones starts in 2 weekends? The same weekend of our camping trip.
Oh!
Are you hyped? Have you watched the trailer?
No.
The trailers? Oh,
Should we pause the episode and watch the trailer and
we
come
should
back?
pause.
No.
Watch the Game of Thrones trailers.
No, we're not going to do that.
Oh my gosh.
I saw this funny meme, Game of Thrones.
Sir
meme.
Arthur Dane. She's like Sir Arthur Dane. They made a vow.
Who's Sir Arthur Dane?
The Sword of the Morning.
Can I finish this email real quick?
Wait a minute. Sword of the Morning.
He says, that's it for now. Good luck with the ice. May the force be with you. And then that's the end of the emails for the podcast.
We
Who's sending
read-
the picture of their fridge? The side-by-side. Oh, we already talked about that.
That was Drew.
Yeah.
This is up to date, man.
Yeah, but your emails, your pictures are not.
Because there were no pictures in these emails. Where there's relevant pictures, I put them in,
All
other
right.
than all of Jose's because they were all jacked. Like, Evernote was fighting me.
So, letters are done. Letters at StarWarsNerdsUnite.com. Email us.
Yeah.
We got to talk about our canoe trips. You want to tell everybody?
I was
Tell
in the
everybody where
middle
we're
of
going.
a sentence.
Oh, well, go ahead.
I saw this funny Game of Thrones meme the other day.
Did it say winter is coming?
No. It had like a picture of John just kind of like with this... He just had this like... I don't know, saddish look on his face or like intense glare, not even like super sad. And it like the title of that pic was How I Feel When Somebody Dies on Game of Thrones. And then under that it had John like totally like beside himself in pain and just like crying. And it said How I Feel When a Dire Wolf Dies on Game of Thrones. It was funny.
Good story.
Yeah, I know.
Where's our canoe trip?
It's in Wisconsin.
It's in Wisconsin this year.
Wolf River.
The Wolf River. How
Oh.
appropriate. You see how I tied that in?
Yeah.
What?
But we're not even going to camp outside this time, are we?
Yeah, we are.
What?
I thought we were staying at that Airbnb.
We want to, but the yokel won't answer. Pretty hard to stay there when they won't communicate with you.
So my buddy John Grab, he's got a wife and 2 kids. They live down in Tallahassee, Florida. And they rented through Airbnb a villa in Nolens.
I saw that.
Did you
It
see
was like
the inside of
an
it?
old mansion.
It was amazing.
And they're the only ones there.
Yeah, it looked like a huge bed and breakfast, and they had like what'd you call that in Roman times? That area in the middle.
Courtyard?
Yeah, but there's like a Roman name for it. I can't remember.
Garden?
It was a garden. I mean, like it was legit area in between, but it was right out on a main road, and it like wrapped around the inside. Oh, it was so cool. It was so cool. And
They said they're turning it into an
actual
bed and breakfast, but they rented it out to them. They were like the last Airbnb customers they were taking before they converted it.
That got the entire place.
They were the only ones there.
And they said it wasn't even expensive.
Yeah,
which
I
is-
should do Airbnb more.
It's crazy. Anyway,
It's called
what, our canoe trip? Oh, the Roman thing.
This is so stupid. It's one of those like cross-section books, and they call it a backyard. It's not a backyard.
No, I can't remember. I wish Magistra listened to our podcast.
Magistra, send us a letter. Letter at Star Wars Nerd Unite. I see her all the time at Kroger.
Is that your Latin
I
teacher?
used to see her at 5 Points like almost every week.
Yeah,
She's awesome. She's one of my favorite people.
she was a good teacher.
Yeah.
She did I ever tell you the story when she got a little tipsy and danced with the Italian guy, and like Coke was not happy?
No.
So when we were in Italy, we were at this place eating, and this guy, there was like live music, and the server like got Magistra and picked her up and like started dancing with her, and she was going along with it, and he like made out with her. It was super weird.
Made out with her?
Like a very passionate kiss.
Wow.
It was weird.
Yeah, I could see why Coke was not happy about that.
Yeah. Sorry, Magistra, that I gave you out.
I'm sure she won't mind. Oh, I was really sad I never went on those trips. Like the freshman year, I was like, there's no way my mom would ever give me money for this, and I don't have the discipline to save up this much money on my own. And now I regret it big time.
Yeah, it was super mega fun.
Yeah. No, I gotta go with my wife. She wants to
Everywhere it
go.
just says courtyard. So if you guys ever decide to go,
You want to go to Rome with us?
yeah, I'll go again for time number 4.
You've been there.
3 times.
Oh, for work mostly though, right?
Once
Oh, don't give me the kinky. You just gave me 3 with the kinky pinky.
Once in high school, once with Megan, and you don't remember that I proposed to Megan at
Yeah, I
the
remember
Trevi
now.
Fountain?
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
What a romantic. He is. He's a hopeless. He just doesn't let anybody know.
What'd she say?
No. All our children are out of
Then
wedlock.
you told her how stupid she was
Yeah.
for making that
Yeah.
decision, and she changed her mind when she saw your logic.
That was the time that I got pickpocketed.
Really?
Yeah.
You
on
didn't
the
have a
train.
money belt on?
No, I had my wallet in a pocket, in a zipped up pocket in my backpack. And he
Ooh.
stole literally nothing. I had no money on me in my wallet. He stole my wallet. So he got my ID and some credit cards that I canceled 10 minutes later.
How did he get it out of your zipper backpack?
It was pretty packed. He's a pickpocket. Like,
He's a
they're good at
professional.
pickpocketing.
All right. We're gonna do the Han Solo book next, and
Yeah. So in 15 years, when you can go on real vacations again, we'll go to Italy together.
I'll be able to go on a real vacation next year.
You won't.
Yeah, I will.
You won't.
Yes, I will.
With a baby.
I'm not sure I would take the baby.
Yeah, who's going to take the baby for more than 3 days?
Megan would take it.
No.
The baby will only be like 6 months old. I'm not going to leave.
Oh,
We
Baby
just
for a
did
week.
a week overnight with Lucy this year for church camp at a year and 16 months. It went well.
we'll be fine. All right, that's it for the podcast. We're on StarWarsNewsUnite.com. You can follow the Amazon link and buy all your Amazon goodies there. That would be super dope. Tell your friends. You know what? We've made a big social media push because of David Jeffrey. He got on Facebook and he started posting some really good stuff. Like, so every time you see a good post on Facebook, it was probably him. And
Did you see my ad that I put on today?
you put an ad on there?
I saw that
Yeah.
for Audible.
Yeah.
No.
It has nothing to do with Star Wars. He posted an Audible ad.
Why did you do that? To get people to click on? For
Yeah, we get
Audible?
money if they do it. It's
Yeah.
for Prime Day.
Oh, I didn't even read that far.
We get it anyway if anybody subscribes through Prime or like after. If
But it's like
anybody,
a specific link for this promotion where you get it for $8.99 a month for the first 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Which is a slamming deal. It's normally $15 a month.
oh wow, can I change?
So I was currently unsubscribed.
Yeah.
It let me do it.
Really?
Yeah. So what I do is I do these promos and then I cancel. And then inevitably, like every quarter, there's usually like a promo where you get a free month
Yeah.
and they'll always let people do it, even existing subscribers.
That's fabulous. Maybe I need to cancel our thing because we actually built up some credits. I haven't been reading audiobooks. I started listening to podcasts again a little bit. I caught up on This American Life. Like I listened to like 2 years of This American Lives. I was way
I don't
behind.
listen to that.
I
I
like
listen
that.
to it on the radio live.
And then S-Town.
I don't do that one.
It's like kind of I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. It's almost like a day. Like he starts off researching a murder mystery, like figuring out who murdered a guy,
yeah. Brian was telling me about
and then it turns out like the real story is this guy,
yeah.
and they go deep into his life. And anyway, it's pretty good.
Riveting.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Captivating.
it's not. I wouldn't call it riveting, but it is really interesting, and you
Sure.
actually like care about.
And it's a
what's gonna
serial
happen.
tale. Just
Kinda,
like
yeah,
serial.
Yeah, it's 7 episodes and that's it.
Right.
It's like done.
Yep.
So, and you can download all the episodes at once. It's pretty cool.
So you should read the ad because then it'll be like a real podcast.
How
Like a
lo-
professional podcast ad.
How long is each episode? the
They're like an
7.
hour, 45 minutes.
Hmm.
The perfect podcast.
Most podcasts aren't very long.
This one's, I was just about to read it like an email. Here's this ad.
It's from Star Wars Nerds Unite.
This one is from
Facebook
Audible.
message.
This is an advertisement, albeit a lazily made one. If you aren't interested, please feel free to ignore. Everybody would know that you did this immediately. If you are remotely interested in using Audible, you should. It's how I consume all my Star Wars books. Use this affiliate link of ours to help steal some dollars from Bezos and give it to us instead.
And then the link.
Yeah. Fabulous. Oh, I just made you like your own post.
Nice.
Well, let me
You
like
probably
as
liked
too.
it as SWNU.
I did. No, I just liked it as you. Oh, you'd already liked it.
That's embarrassing.
And here's Jesus. He commented. He said, "This is why Josh the legend Tosh is internet famous." He's trying to say because you're so good at writing ads.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Siri.
What is she talking about?
I said, I don't know, seriously or something, and she thought I was talking to her, and then she heard me say, "I know."
And she goes, knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. What else we got to talk about?
Nothing.
Yeah, so
Time for
totally,
bed.
you should get on Audible. If you're going to subscribe to Prime, go through, click on our Amazon link first. We get a lot of money when people do that. Like it's like $10 or something.
It's $3.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever. Don't do that then.
Do it.
Do it anyway.
I mean, if you're going to get Prime,
yeah, get it.
give us $3.
Give us $3. What else? We have a Patreon. If you want to search that up, you can do that. If you want to give us some monies for doing the podcast.
Now that the month is over, I think there's some new cards we have to make. I'll have to check and
I
document.
liked making those cards. I'm going to do a better job this time.
Okay.
I can't do the
think
podcast.
you just signed your
info, man.
name on them last time.
Yeah, and you guys wrote like special things, and
You're going to write Timothy instead of Tim.
yeah, we'll just blow it out. You guys are jerks. We got a pretty long podcast this time. It was an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, man. Good content.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm going to bed.
All right, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Did you hear that? We're doomed.
This podcast is a part of the BenView network.
You can find this and other podcasts like it at benviewnetwork.com.